Yair Davidiy speaking to you on behalf of Brit-Am Hebrew Awareness. Brit-Am Hebrew Awareness is a movement that researches the presence of lost 10 tribes of Israel among Western nations. The English-speaking peoples especially are found to be prominent in this regard. They embody the tribes of Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh. Ephraim is especially important in the British, amongst the British and offshoots of the British, whereas Manasseh is found to be more predominant in the USA, even though there are elements of both tribes and both entities. And the Bible speaks of it, and it's a major theme of biblical prophecy. The lost 10 tribes and their identity, and what they will do, especially the tribes of Joseph, and what will happen to them in the end times, and what they should do. That is an important theme in biblical prophecy. And this involves many peoples in the world today, and the fate of the whole world is bound up with this. And this needs to be made known, and that is why we're trying to make it known. It needs to be made known. And a lot of people believe in this, but they don't know what to do about it. And a lot of people ask about it. Ask us, what can we do about it? What can we do to make it known, to make it accepted? How can we make the truth of our Israelite ancestry apparent to everybody? And also, why is it like this? Why does it have to be unknown, unaccepted? And why does it have to be proven? It should be obvious. It should be straightforward. And how can we even be sure of it? And how can we prove it to ourselves, not only to others? So, we have answers, partial answers. We have a way to go forward. That, when you have a problem, that may not necessarily have the whole answer, the whole solution straight away. But as long as you have a way to move forward, a way to get going, very often that is the way to go. That's what there is, and that will provide a solution. There are originally 12 tribes of Israel. 10 of them got lost. They forgot who they were. And they migrated to the west. And physically they stayed together. They remained one coherent unity in coherent bodies. Those who remained, those who did not lose their identity, became the ancestors of the Jewish people. These 10 tribes, they were lost for a reason. They lost their identity for the sake of divine providence to fulfill the task that they had. This is part of what they had to do. And in the end times they will return. But before returning, they will have to realize who they are and where they came from. And they've been separated from Judah for about 3,000 years. And they have changed. Judah has changed. The situation has changed. A lot of water has flowed in many rivers since then. In the Jordan, in the Thames, in the Missouri, and a lot of places. And the fact of physical connection between the two groups remains. It is a reality, and at a subconscious level, some degree of awareness or perception of some type of connection exists at a certain level. The spiritual level, at a subconscious level, and somehow or other we can manage to get in contact with it. It's sometimes enough to arouse the awareness with the whole of it to break through, the whole of it to come forward. And we can show from the Bible the lost 10 tribes in the West. We can also show it from rabbinical sources. We can show it from history and related sources. We can bring us numerous subsidiary points, all pointing in the same direction. This creates a bridge of awareness, of Hebrew consciousness. This prepares the ground for alterations in how people view life, all along the board, all across the board, in every field of endeavor, every field of activity. This changes everything. This changes how we perceive life, how we understand what we have to do, what should be done, and who we are, and who others are. And this can be done. The truth can be made known. Also, we should note that how do great changes in history take place historically? So occasionally you have revolutions, you have changes, people change their understanding, change their beliefs, change everything, and there are patterns to how this takes place. So very often you have new ideas, or new conceptions, new understandings, And a few people receive this information, accept it, believe it, prove it to themselves, and they talk about it, write it down, and start spreading it, and it flows, it goes there. If you take notice, some people take notice, some people think about it, they write about it, becomes part of the whole pool of knowledge, of ideas and concepts and possibilities floating around in the public domain. And it exists in the public at some level or other, becomes conscious that this idea, this solution exists, it is there, there's a possibility, and those who are concerned with it become aware of it, and then circumstances change and it's realised that this idea, this notion provides solutions, provides answers, it speaks the truth, and suddenly it becomes acceptable all over the board. It becomes the new self-evident reality. So that is what there is, and this is what we can do by getting the information out, explaining the information, clarifying it, and spreading it even in a small way. We contribute to the possibility of it being taken up when it is needed at very short notice. So this is what can be done, this is what may happen. At least we should do what we can and see how things develop. And the valuable tools of internalising and spreading the necessary information, they include key concepts and points of interest. Key concepts, an example of a key concept of great importance is promises to Abraham. They're easy to remember, they're obvious, and they are important. Another thing, we have points of interest that also help spread the knowledge, and one of the points of interest is the hymn known as I Vow to Thee My Country, which in its own right is something that tells us who the people singing it are, what their origins are, that they too are of Israelite descent.